Welcome to the NCDWI Guy podcast, where defenders of the Constitution assemble to prepare for courtroom battle and firm owners gather to develop marketing strategies that will revolutionize the practice of criminal defense. Here's your host, the NCDWI Guy, Jake Minnick.
Hello, fellow freedom fighters, and welcome to episode 134 of the NCDWI Guy podcast. On today's episode, we are talking about networking. I am going to intentionally keep this episode short because I'm going to have you use the time that you would have spent listening to kind of the normal time frame of our episode to actually take action. There is going to be a challenge at the end of this episode. And if you replace the 15 minutes you would have used listening to maybe a little bit longer podcast, doing what I'm calling you to do, you are going to see tremendous return on that time. So diving into today's episode, the reason why I'm talking about networking is based on two experiences that I've had over the past week that were networking experiences. So this is something that Grant Cardone, who is got this kind of 10x mindset, has said repeatedly. If your net worth isn't changing, change your network. If your net worth isn't changing, change your network. You have to utilize the collective brain power of the people around you. There are people around you in the legal industry that have done incredible things to their business, to their law practice. Take advantage of that. There have been so many times in my career as a lawyer when I have walked into an attorney lounge or walked into the courtroom and I'm getting ready to try a case, and I ask one of my bar members, one of my colleagues, what do you think about this case? And the feedback is tremendous. And I have talked numerous times on the podcast about taking advantage of the brain power that exists in your local bar association. Don't miss out on that opportunity. Don't miss out on the knowledge of years of experience that might be sitting literally right next to you when you're about to try a case. Take advantage of your colleagues' knowledge, experience, practice. Take advantage of that. You're going to be given that. Take advantage of that. So we often do this when we're bouncing cases off of other attorneys. If you're not doing that, please do. Same thing applies to your business. Don't miss out on the tremendous brain power that exists in the legal industry, in the bar, when it comes to your specific business, when it comes to the type of practice that you're running. Take advantage of that. Through your colleagues, through the people that are in your local bar that are running a similar practice to you or a different practice, but running a business that is clearly working, clearly at a next stage from where you are. Seek those people out and talk to them. Jim Rohn says, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It's a really powerful thought. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you are spending time with other attorneys, if you are as an attorney, the average of the 5 attorneys that you spend the most time with, think about who it is that you're spending your time with. Think about what leaders in the industry, what leaders in your practice area that you're spending time with to try to hone your practice in the courtroom, to try to deliver a better service in the office. Think about who it is that you're spending the most time with. So two experiences that I've had this past week. One is the CRISP Game Changer Summit in Atlanta, Georgia. It was amazing. I mean, it was an amazing summit. It was just something that maybe never will be replicated, or at least for a long time in the legal industry. Held at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, as this thing is getting ready to kick off on November 2nd, Wednesday of last week. I'm walking around on the field that the Atlanta Falcons play on and looking around at just this enormous collection of some of the kind of greatest marketing business minds that exist in the legal industry in the country, all here for this one particular event. The speakers were incredible. The networking opportunities at the Game Changers Summit were incredible. But it was just this powerful experience. And I've been calling people to come to the Game Changer Summit. It sounds like next year it's going to be for CRISP clients only. So if you haven't taken advantage of a Game Changer Summit up to this point, you may not be able to without being a CRISP client moving forward. And if you missed out on last week's conference, you missed out on an incredible opportunity to grow your practice. We went down as a team, got to spend time with the other attorneys at the office, with the team at the office, and kind of talk through some of the experiences and issues that we are facing as a firm across the state. But we also had 3 attorneys, criminal defense lawyers, join us at the summit and kind of stay with us at the Airbnbs that we were staying at. And that was incredible. I mean, incredible. I'm not going to mention their names on here because I didn't ask for permission to share their attending the summit, but it was just so powerful to have some time in relaxation to reflect on the lessons learned from the day, talk about what's working in business for each of us at our different practices. It was probably the most valuable part of the conference, was this opportunity to network in Atlanta with these attorneys that I get to see on a regular basis in North Carolina, right? I mean, you have to spend that time actually carved out for the purpose of growing your practice. So that was just such a real powerful experience to have this kind of time in retreat together to learn from one another's successes, to learn from one another's failures. So just an amazing experience at the Game Changer Summit. The content was incredible. The speakers were incredible. The experience of the Game Changer Summit was incredible. And most importantly, the camaraderie with the team and our colleagues here that we went down with from North Carolina, the amazing opportunity to bounce ideas off of one another in a kind of low-key, relaxed setting was just incredible. Just such a great experience. Second experience that I kind of had on the networking front was this morning. I met with Brian King at a local coffee shop. Brian is an attorney that I very much look up to in terms of how he is running his practice and what he is doing at his firm. In terms of kind of a how can we improve things? How can we make things better? How can we deliver a better service? How can we be better at what we do? I love what Brian is doing at his office, and I got a tremendous amount of value from Brian over the hour and a half that we had to talk together. Really just he laid out for me so many of the things that they have done at their office, things that have worked, things that haven't worked that he's moved away from, And it's just so incredible to be able to learn from other people's experiences, see what they're doing, avoid the struggles and difficulties that they went through as I'm trying to grow my own practice. I do believe that you grow through your failures and that your mistakes are valuable. The lessons that are learned from mistakes are valuable. But if you can't avoid the mistakes because of the fact that you have received a kind of a insight from somebody else learning the mistake themselves, why not take advantage of that? Why not see what is working well for kind of the way that you are trying to run your practice, for the way that you're trying to move your business forward, for the way that you're trying to push your client experience forward. And Brian is just such a amazing person because he just really loves sharing his business acumen with other members of the bar. Again, this is a meeting where I'm pretty much getting all of the value out of the conversation and offering Brian very little, and there was nothing expected on that front on his end. And so I think, what do you have to do in order to gain knowledge from leaders in the industry? Most of the time, you just have to ask. I don't know what it is about us attorneys, but generally when another member of the bar comes to us and asks a practice area question, or asks a question about, hey, what are you doing in marketing, hiring, these kind of practice of the law questions, or legal industry questions, or marketing questions, most of the time, attorneys are more than happy to share information on that front. We are a group, generally speaking, that likes to help one another out. So really, what would you have to do? You have to be brave enough to ask for help. You have to be humble enough to realize that things could be going better. I am at kind of like a turning point in my practice, or I'm at a real difficult time in my practice. I'm at a space where I really need some additional coaching, help, insight into kind of taking my practice to the next level. And one of the easiest ways to get that kind of insight is to go to people that have lived it ahead of you, to go to other people in the legal industry and ask for insight, to ask for help. It doesn't always have to be somebody that is kind of at a more advanced stage in terms of the business that they are running than you are. It can be your fellow colleagues. And that was what was so powerful about the Atlanta conference, is these other attorneys that we went down with, they're all dealing with the same struggles we are, running to multiple counties a day, dealing with hiring, whether it's an attorney or legal assistant, dealing with the difficulties of practicing in this county versus that county. It's helpful to have somebody to bounce off, hey, what is working for you? And where have you been able to grow? Where have you been able to find the breakthrough point on this particular roadblock? How is it that you've been able to overcome that? People have done it. We just need to reach out, be brave enough, be humble enough to ask for help. So again, I said I was going to keep this episode shorter. I am going to do that. And here's the call to action. Call, reach out to, email, text, do all of the above. I don't care what it is. Reach out to 3 people in your local bar, 3 people that you look up to in terms of the way that they are running their legal practice, the way that they appear to really have it together for clients, that they've got some sort of a secret sauce to the client experience, that seem to have a lot of files that are showing up in the DA's bucket every day. Reach out to 3 people that you respect in terms of how they are running their practice, and ask them to coffee. Ask them to sit down with you and talk to you about how you can improve your practice. Identify when you're going into this meeting what your current struggle points are, what difficulties that you're facing in terms of growing the law practice that you are managing the way you want to do that, whether it's growing the way that you're representing clients in the courtroom, whether it is something going on in terms of how you are building up your law practice in the office, identify what those pain points are, and come ready to just listen to some of the people in your local bar that are crushing it. Because across the state, there are attorneys that have lived those pain points, have learned from those mistakes. Take advantage of that collective knowledge. There's only going to be a few people that actually follow up on this call to action. So I'm telling you right now, if you're still listening, if you are one of the very, very few people that take this advice and reach out to 3 lawyers in your area that you respect the way that they are running their practice, you are going to monumentally advance your legal practice with 3 cups of coffee. Go get it done. If you found the information in this podcast to be valuable, I simply ask that you pay it forward and share this podcast with another member of the legal community. Also, if you would leave us a rating or a review on whatever platform you are listening on, I would greatly appreciate it.